Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sound of News. I'm your host, Wei Fang, and
I'm Kathy Zhang.
thank you very much. You follow us here, and we didn't lose you.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it very much. So this is our new time slot. I don't know whether you got a chance to check out Joshua Phillips' show, and now you have the choice of seeing both of us, and let us know how you think. And yeah, thank you very much. And as I said, going forward, all right, we'll add a little segment at the end of our show, which will be a little joke segment. How about that? Actually, I really really love I love jokes. A lot of jokes are kind of different. The how to say, American jokes are typically one-liner, right? The Chinese joke or Chinese American joke are not a one-liner. They talk about long story, then got this punchline there, and this is for you to take a look. Well, not take a look, take a listen, and see whether you like it or not, and then let us know. Again, thank you so very much to coming to this hour and be with us for the remaining the next 45 minutes. All right, so got a lot of news for you, and our intention is to give you basically the scoop of the day. And by watching our news, you should be able to know all the important news that we believe you should know, and in a fast and straightforward way. All right, so that's the first topic. First today we'll cover a few things, right? We're gonna cover we're gonna cover the Florida Orlando CPAC, what's gonna happen there, and then we're gonna talk about the CCP's, the foreign minister is drawing red line for U.S. Wow, that's pretty strong. Would that be any effective? I have a little good news for you, okay, about the San Francisco, the school district, the renaming thing. We reported to you before about, they're going to scrap the Abraham Lincoln and the George Washington from the name of the high school or middle school. They are backing, they're back up. They're backing out of that. And what's the reason? What happened? And Coca-Cola got itself into big trouble today. So I'll report to you about that. But before we head into that, remember, click likes and subscription. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the COVID relief bill.
Yeah, what's happening with that?
Right. So Democrat is pushing this through without support of Republican because they got enough vote. So that's what they are doing, and with a simple majority, once in a year they got this one chance. They're gonna apply that chance to this bill. So they're gonna push through. Okay. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this $1.9 trillion relief bill. What's in it? Okay, there are about $280 billion for small business. All right, this is called a PPP. Okay, for small business, among them, $60 billion were for extra small business, 10 or fewer employees, which seems these are embraced and by both parties, by different pretty much everybody. However, that's only 280 billion, right? You're talking about another 1.6 trillion dollar. Where do they go? Let me read you a few items and see whether you like it. $270 million will be used for arts. $200 million will be spent on museum. $50 million will be on family planning fund. $112 million will for Bay Area, San Francisco, where we live. San Francisco Bay Area rapid transit. And you think about that, what does that to do with the COVID-19, okay? And then a good amount of money, there's no exact amount, will be spent on the native language preservation program. Another 1.5 million will be spent on the Seaway International Bridge that connecting New York and Canada. Let's take a look at the F1, that bridge. It's a bridge that seems to need some, some maintenance. Okay, spending this money there may, you can say it's plausible that it makes sense. However, the issue is this: at this COVID-19 time, nobody can cross that street and that bridge. Nobody can use it because Canada sealed their borders. U.S. did the same thing, and then.
So why they spend money on the bridge?
Yeah, that's the question. Why do they spend money on the bridge?
Yeah, so maybe let's take a look. That we haven't found out, right? But with the money that given to the proposed to give to California Bay Area, the BART, the rapid transit. So actually, everybody knows the person who behind this bill is Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, and he is in the Bay Area of California. So, but normally people would be probably appreciate that he could get fundings for our transit system, right? But however, this BART, how many people are using after the pandemic? During the pandemic, that's the issue. I think that's probably similar to the situation in the bridge connecting the United States and Canada. So BART, according to our local newspaper, the Mercury News, the BART, the agency, actually, they surveyed a random sample of about over 1,200 people, like in terms of how much they use BART during the pandemic. Actually, so the ridership just significantly decreased after the pandemic. So it's almost nearly 90% lower than normal ridership. 5 out of the 6 respondents said that they are no longer riding the BART train. Only 8% said they will ride at least 3 times a week. Okay, not even every day. Mm-hmm. So that's the BART system that this relief bill tried to fund.
And among the $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill, only 9% was allocated or go towards vaccination, okay? And another 91% all just going to go elsewhere, including $350 billion for state and the local government, okay? When they are, their pocket that, is it no longer have any dollar, it's going to put federal dollar into the state dollar and the local dollar. I don't know how you think about that, okay? Per my understanding of the U.S. Constitution and the principles behind our, federal government, they are not supposed to do this. They don't do this kind of welfare thing. It's not their job. Their money all come from people. It's tax money. Federal government does not manufacture anything, does not produce any wealth, okay? They're collecting money from the people as tax, put that into the pocket of the state and the local government. That's basically that's just misuse the fund, okay? Anyway, so Tom Cotton, who's the senator of Arkansas, the Republican, he said the Democrats are using the pandemic as an excuse to fuel a lot of long-standing liberal priorities. Do you agree? Also among the among the spending, there's a minimum wage. Minimum wage is also put in here, and also there's all kinds of different things. I don't want to list all the other things. So then another Jason Smith, he said this. He's the Missouri Republican congressman. He's the ranking member of the Banks and House Budget Committee. All right. He said this approach is the wrong plan at the wrong time for the wrong reason. And he said this shall not be called a stimulus bill. It's actually a bailout bill. All your wish got fulfilled. Yeah, I don't know how you think about that. So that's the bill. Yes, easy money, right? We all got some, we all got some money. As I said in my Chinese show, we actually have the earlier hour. Where does the federal government has those money? They don't. Mm-hmm. They just print dollars, and then just log on the book saying that this is the new debt, new national debt, and then our children needs to pay them back. Our children and grandchildren needs to pay them back, and so easy money won't be easy down the road. Don't you agree? All right. Okay, let's move on to the next news.
Okay, next news. It seems may not be really related to most of our audience here. It's relates to the citizenship test. But why we talk about this piece of news, you may know it after we talk about it. So the Biden administration announced under its administration, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Service just announced that they will cancel the new citizenship test, which was implemented later last year under Trump administration. and they will revert back to the old version of the test, which was created in 2008. So normally such tests will be reviewed every 10 years. So it was created in 2008. By 2018 and so on, then it's up to review, right? And so that's what the Trump administration did, and they just did a revision. But why it's only a couple months, and then why it's changed again, right? So you may wonder. So the reason, first of all, maybe we just to talk about the reason. So the Immigration and the Citizenship Service said, because of the version from the Trump administration may inadvertently create a potential obstacle to the naturalization process. Okay, they said it may create some difficulties for those immigrants. And why they could do it in such a short time, because it's due to Biden's another executive order, which was signed on February 2nd. And this order, required them to do some review and to show that our purpose is to really welcome those immigrants. So what are the difference between the two tests? The 2008 version had 10 questions for the immigrant to answer, and if they answer correctly, they can pass the test. The new version under Trump administration had 20 questions, so double the questions. And in the new version, it had more questions about American history and the civics. So, and the former version was developed mostly by over 150 organizations. Okay, those are the organizations. They developed this test. But the new version was mostly developed by the experts in the field of adult education and the academia. So that's the difference. And also to prepare for the test, they also give you the materials. So in the 2008 version, they gave you 100 questions to prepare so that you can answer 10 of them. For the new one, they had 128 questions prepared for the potential person, and they can answer 20. They will be required to answer 20 of them. So that's the difference. So maybe you wonder, how does that relate to, everybody, right?
Yeah, in my ideal America, okay, why we bring this piece of news to you? Most of you are born here, and why it matters? In my view, it matters a lot. It matters a lot. As you know, that 50 million people today, 50 million people went through the naturalization process and become American, including Wei and Kathy. Okay, all those green card holders, they want to become citizen. Most of them. Okay, most of them, they want to become citizen. It's a must to get type of goal for them in their life. This test is the place, is the time and the place to teach them what is America. The federal government should have fulfilled that duty by giving them a very challenging test. Actually, it's going to be a very positive thing, because you force them to study, they will for sure study because they want that citizenship. That's the time to teach, for them to learn about what is America, or what is American, and then what are the American values, what's our Constitution, and things like that. They don't exist. All those questions don't exist. I went through this citizen test. To me, I went through graduate school, and then I take that test. It's just like that, in I guess 5 minutes or 3 minutes, I passed those 10 tests. It's too simple for me. I don't learn a thing by passing through that test. But in the ideal America, if they really treat this well, the citizenship, the last stop of the naturalization process, they can do this country a great favor by having people go through the learning before they take the test. Given, okay, we're not doing this, we're not even doing this to our kids here in high school and in college. I don't know how many of you learn Constitution in your school, in your college, and in the high school. I ran into a young guy yesterday, and he said, you know, in my high school we learned about Constitution. To me, I was very surprised, okay, because I was in my last year. I interviewed a professor in Utah, and then I asked him, how many of your students, how many young people know the Constitution? He said, I actually did that survey. In the classroom, about 100 people, I asked how many people read the Constitution. Give me a guess. How many people would have read the college student, okay, read the Constitution? Can you just guess? I really want to, you just give a guess, and I have his answer. Just type up something there. So the answer, I cannot wait for too long because this is only 2 people raised their hand. Only 2 people. Most of them, they don't know. They don't know our Constitution. Not this to be nationalized, immigrants. We're talking about native-born people here. Our education has failed them in that regard. So we failed with our, local native people. We failed on our new immigrant. That's why we got here today.
Yeah, we have some answers.
Yeah, you guys 10%, 25%. Yeah, I mean, reasonable guess. I would have guessed that way. 2%, less than 2%. Young people today in the college as of now, can you believe it? Utah is a pretty, I would say, conservative state, right? Yeah, can you believe so? Anyway.
Wow, Kathy Greenwood got it right, 2%. Wow.
I don't know what I should say, congratulations or not.
Right.
I don't want to say that, right? You don't want to be congratulated either, so.
Yeah, it's very concerning. Actually, I remembered I did an interview with Professor Victor Hansen back last October. We talked about the education of the classic education, right? So he mentioned this, it's almost the similar thing. He said, what's wrong with our education in terms of the Western civilization? And he said mostly 2 things went wrong. The first thing is for the past few decades in the United States, in the education area, they treat the race, as the Western civilization. Okay, so that's one mistake. Second is because there are over 50 million immigrants, and that they use that excuse saying, the immigrants, they have less capability to understand English, so we should make the course easier. So because of these 2 reasons, they made the civic and Western civilization education in the United States education system much simpler than it should be. But he said, Professor Hansen said, actually there's some huge mistake, and it's punishing not only the students, it's punishing all of the Americans. So I just think he had the foresight and wisdom to say that. Yeah. So
in terms of this citizen test, I would say Trump was right, but he should have done way more. If I'm in his position, I really will take advantage of this opportunity to teach all the new immigrants about what is the value, what are the values of this country. That's what we did, on the radio in the last 10 years in Silicon Valley. We talk about that virtually every week, and for the past 10 years. Yeah,
and actually, remember we discussed that at one time. Even we passed the citizenship test, but you learn something. It's still very limited learning. So ideally, some kind of continuing education of the Americans' history and culture should be set up for the new immigrants, even after they pass the citizen test. That's just what I think. Yeah.
Okay, now next topic. Well, Coca-Cola. Let's talk about Coca-Cola.
What happened?
They got themselves into trouble. All right. So Coca-Cola invited a trainer, okay, and they give a training material to all employees of the company. Well, that's a big company, right? Okay, so it's a company-wide training, and some internal whistleblower leaked out the training material. Let's take a look. What's the big deal about this leaked out document? Look at the top right. Okay, as you can see, they teach people to be less oppressive. It makes sense, right?
And they said to be less white is to.
Oh my God, I even missed the first line.
Yeah, so the core message is you have to be less white. And what does that mean to be less white? That's the list they tell you to do.
Okay, let's look at that. To be less white is to be less oppressive. Oh boy. To be less arrogant, to be less certain, to be less defensive, to be less ignorant, to be more humble. I think, guys, I think Wei and Kathy really are very, very in the best position to comment on this, right? Because we are not white. I think our word does take, carry some credibility. I think this is absurd, okay? I don't know whether my word will get myself into trouble. I think this is absurd, okay? I came here in this country. I went to University of Iowa City. In the first month of my staying there was a shooting, very, very bad shooting incident.
Tragic, yeah.
A Chinese student, a talented student, shot death of another Chinese student because of some personal, problem. And this guy, his name is Lu Gang. This is 1992. Okay, this guy carry on and shoot the department chairman and a few other people.
Professors, the secretary.
Pretty much just destroy the天文物理学家 the astro. I don't know. Basically, the physics department. Okay, pretty much killed the pillar professor of that department. That's what happened in 1992. Okay, I think it's a January. The president of the University of Iowa got all the minority students into a big hall. And I was really nervous there. I said, gosh, my fellow Chinese students shoot death to a few white people. Okay, I mean, Americans, and they are white. And the president said this. The president said, something really terrible happened last night. But we know he's a poor kid. He's a poor kid. This is the original word, as I remember. He's a poor kid. We don't blame on you. We don't want you to feel afraid. Okay, we don't want to feel uneasy. Okay, well, I get you here. I want you to feel okay. And we have arranged a host family for you, a host family for each of you. So you can register your name, and then in the weekend, go stay with your host family and just talk about it. I was really shocked. I said, what? I just expected a racial kind of backlash. So I went over the weekend. I went to my host family. I don't know, maybe they're still alive here, whether they could see this show. They got 2 huskies and beautiful dogs. That's my first experience of getting to know the Midwest American life. So that was my experience. Those are the white people, the president of the university, and my host family. The two Midwestern white people. They are not oppressive. They are not arrogant. They are very caring. Unbelievable. I never had that experience. I remember that for all my life. And so this is, I just cannot echo this so-called training material, right? It cannot be further from the truth. I'm not a white, okay? I'm yellow, all right? I speak of my word, my point of view, my real experience. This is just BS. This is nonsense. This is just nonsense. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, we have a Judy Marshall saying she remember that.
You do. You're right.
She lives in Waterloo.
It's all over the newspaper, right? This guy shot death 3 people, 3 professors and his classmate. There's no racial hatred. There's no retaliation. We were taken care of very well.
And especially to tell students like from China and other countries to like relax, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out of their way to take care of us. Okay? So, yeah, it's nonsense. That was the American. That was I went to Connecticut first. Now I went to California. This is my 3rd state. So I stayed in the East, stayed in the West, and in the Midwest. Yeah, what I have is only appreciation for America. Okay, so...
The authentic America.
Yeah, authentic America.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about San Francisco schools. We report to you that the San Francisco School District had a vote not recently to change the names, to rename the 44 public schools, and it got a backlash a lot from all over the country.
Oh, before you get there, I just want to
Yes.
wrap up. Okay, after this backslash come to Coca-Cola, right? There's an attorney who said, wow, this seems blatant racial discrimination to this employment lawyer who's the trainer, right? And another comment saying that if a corporate company sent around a training kit instructing black people how to be less black, the world will implode, and the lawsuit will follow. And so Coca-Cola issued a statement. 80 words. I did the counting, 80 words. The 80 I can read it to you. You are bored to death. You may fall asleep. The video circulating on social media is from a publicly available LinkedIn learning series, and it's not the focus of our company's curriculum. Our Better Together global learning curriculum is part of the learning plan. So basically, they went on and say nothing. It's just nothing. They say nothing. Okay? Summarize all their statement into one word. We will continue to refine. That's it. They just dare not to even explain or defend or correct themselves. They just say nothing. Just 80 words of nonsense. And that's what they say. Okay?
Okay. So
Sad to report that, but at least there's some backlash to this nonsense training thing.
yeah, people need to know that. And so that's what happened. Once people know and if people react, then things might change. In San Francisco, the school board actually very surprisingly announced.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to apologize to Kathy because I still want some more to say. I went down to check the Martin Luther King, right? And he, in his speech, I have a dream. I just want to read this to you. How to view this racism issue. Okay, there's two ways to view them. Okay, Martin Luther King described one way. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Right? That means color doesn't matter. We judge you by your character. That's one way to resolve this, deal with this racism. The second way is, black is superior, white is inferior. All right? There was discrimination. Let's do the reverse way. Where is the boundary? Is that a way to correct things? There's two different ways, two different means to attack that, to attack this problem, right? So what do you think? And also at the end of this, speech, Martin Luther King said, "When all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hand and sing the world of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last." What his point of view is very easy, right? Same. Those kids are all the same. We're all the same, regardless what we believe. We're judged by our character, not by our color of the skin. All right. Sorry, Kathy, please. I will not interrupt you anymore.
Oh, no, that's okay. So actually, we wanted to give you a complete, both the news report and also the comments. And I saw Twinkly 1974 said, call Coca-Cola. So, that's what when people understand what's going on in the news, and then people can decide what are the right things to do. So, continue with the San Francisco School Board story. They, very surprisingly, they announced they're gonna hold off renaming these 44 schools, and the reason is it's being widely publicized, and they got a lot of backlash, criticism. So the president of the school board just released a statement yesterday on Sunday, admitted that the mistakes have been made in aiming to rebrand the school current name for such people as George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. And they said that they are canceling the renaming committee meeting for the time being, and that they will revise their plan. Okay, it's not saying they just gonna stop doing that. They just gonna revise. But the good thing is, at least looks like George Washington and the Lincoln Abraham Lincoln's name won't be changed for the time being. So, and this president of the school board only 30 years old. That's something to notice.
Yeah. It's a good piece of news, I would say. So I went back to check. I said, why do they want to, remove George Washington and Abraham Lincoln's name? For George Washington, I kind of understand. There seems to have some reason, which is he was a slave owner, although he let them all, free all of them later. But why Abraham Lincoln? This person, freed the slaves in the South. And so I check out their reason, and the reason is he mistreated the indigenous people. Indigenous people. All right. So that's his crime, okay, in the context of the history. If we go along that logic, as I said before, right, who is not guilty? Democrat, just set up the confederation, right? And then should we rename? Just remove Democrat's name, Democrat Party name, as I said the other day, right? We should just follow the logic. We should demand they change their name. That name was really a name of bad meaning, because they.
Yeah, so that really kind of reminds me of what happened in the Cultural Revolution in China. It's like, how can you just punish some people for the history, right? In China,
context is completely different.
Yeah, during the Cultural Revolution, the slogan is "破四旧." It's like just demolish 4 old things, right? So they really just try to change the history or use the history to punish people. So this totally one of the the things that do by the communists, leftists.
Yeah,
we have to really point that out.
Yeah, I say Chinese American. Our forefathers, here we built the railroad, right? The cross-continental railroad. There was this this 排华法案, this anti-Chinese immigrant type of act, which lasts for many years, and I think 7 decades, 6 decades. So in certain sense, we are the minority who was discriminated against. But talking from a Chinese American point of view, I just have to say this, okay? This is all absurd. This is all absurd, okay? And you cannot apply the past to today. If you go with that logic, the whole world in the chaos. And this is indeed we're living in some sort of chaos. So I think I have I have this so-called identity to speak loudly on this matter, right? I just don't think it makes sense. All right, let's just continue.
Okay, talking about U.S. and China relations. So the Chinese Communist Party's Foreign Affairs Minister Wang Yi. So yesterday, actually today, but if in China it was yesterday. So he urged the United States to meet 4 requirements. He had 4 suggestions for the Biden administration, and so when he attended a forum called the Lanting Forum. So it's a video conference organized by the Chinese Foreign Affairs Administration and the Ministry, the Foreign Affairs Ministry. And in the name, it was organized by the 2 universities in China. So one thing is, when you see it's different. In China, when it's organized even by the universities, actually the government is behind. So what are the 4 suggestions he raised? Okay, so first he said, what's the theme of this? What's the theme of this conference? The theme was, let me see if I have it here, to dialogue, to cooperate, to control the difference, and then it's to push forward U.S.-China relationship and put it back to the correct trajectory. That's basically the theme. So what are the 4 suggestions? So first, Wang Yi said, U.S. and China must respect each other and not interfere with each other's internal affairs. So this is a very, very typical and old rhetoric, which meaning is that they just demand United States not to support Taiwan, not to support Hong Kong, Uyghur, or the Tibetan people for their human rights. Okay, so that's what they said. Actually, it was talked about before. So they call this internal affairs. Second, their suggestion is that U.S.-China must strengthen dialogue and properly manage contradictions and differences. Okay, basically saying, human rights, it's a contradiction, it's a difference. We just put it down, right? Okay, third, we must meet each other's halfway and restart mutually beneficial cooperation between the two countries. What does that mean? Okay, so he actually laid it out. So he requests to abandon the tariffs, okay, and give up the unilateral sanctions on some Chinese enterprise and the scientific research and education institutions. Third is to give up in his word, unreasonable suppression of China's scientific and technology progress. How U.S. could interfere with China's, technology progress? What that mean is, you don't punish, you allow us continue to steal your intellectual properties. That's basically how we can translate it. The fourth suggestion, saying U.S.-China must remove obstacles and resume China-U.S. exchanges in various fields. So what does that mean? So they want the United States to lift various restrictions on the Chinese education, culture, media, overseas Chinese affairs, and the different groups' activities, the pro-CCP groups' activities in the United States as soon as possible. So one example is the Confucius Institute. We know that under Trump administration, the Confucius institution was deemed as a foreign agent, right? So they have restrictions. And under Biden's administration, they already canceled that plan. But the CCP government tried more. For example, at least I think about 10 CCP-backed media organizations are designated as a foreign agent under the Trump administration. So they want to, Biden administration to lose that. So basically, that's the red lines, the more red lines being drawn for the United States by the CCP government. So how do you think of that? And what is Biden's administration's response? We will, let you know about that. So White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki responded to Wang's speech, saying, around the time when the president had a conversation with President Xi, we believe that relationship with China is one of strong competition. And she reiterated that Biden's authority would coordinate with our partners and allies throughout the world, Europeans and the other partners in the region, also with Democrats and the Republicans in Congress to deal with the U.S.-China relations. And she didn't mention anything about the tariff. So that's, in a brief, Biden administration's response to Wang's speech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically my comment is they can say what they want, whatever they want. They control however many, red lines, and it won't make a difference for now. I don't see it that way. Okay, because Trump already set up a really big barrier for them to come in, and I don't think Biden is dismantling that wall for now. In the long run, I don't know. For now, I think this Wang Yi would get nowhere. But anyway, we need to be cautious and we need to be well informed about their intention. Okay, so I think Yeah, so the Supreme Court, as I saw some posting here. By the way, let me make a little comment. Twinkly 1974, you said you were in Iowa. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that actually in the beginning saying, hey, Hawkeyes.
All right, okay, yeah, Hawkeyes. That was my school. And yeah, good to see you. In Chinese, we call this 老乡, right? Hometown folks. Hometown folks, we are very, very close to each other, and we just hang out together and do everything together, things like that. In China, in the college, what I mean is,
yeah.
Anyway,
but now we have the chance to meet here.
Yeah, meet you over the air, and over the line. Yeah, okay. And so, Supreme Court actually threw out at least 8 cases related to the election today.
Yeah.
Basically, they did not give any reason, no reason. But Thomas dissented. So was Alito. So was Gorsuch. And then so this case on the Pennsylvania. Okay, Pennsylvania case, basically Pennsylvania governor changed the way of election without going through the legislature. They were sued. The case go to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and they ruled that yes, they have the right, they can change it. Okay, Supreme Court worked with the governor to change election, while the constitutional delegated power is with the Pennsylvania state legislatures. Okay, the whole thing just doesn't make sense. This case was appealed all the way to the Supreme Court, and they threw it out today. And 3 justices dissented: Alito, Thomas, and Gorsuch. And what Thomas said is this. Hear me out and let me know that whether you think it makes sense. He said the court failed to settle this dispute before the election, and thus provide clear rules. Now we failed again to provide clear rules for future election. All right, and he said we need to make it clear, and so. Yeah, he said this is not a perception. This is not prescription for confidence. Okay, he said changing the rule in the middle of game is bad enough, and the decision to write the rules seems to have affected too few ballots to change the outcome of any federal election. But that may not be the case in the future, he said. These cases provide us with the ideal opportunity to address just what authority non-legislature officials have to set election rules, and to do so well before the next election cycle. The refusal to do so is inexplicable. Clear state. I don't know who can refute this, but somehow 6 of them they did. Mm-hmm. All right, the case was thrown out. What a disappointment. What a disappointment. All right, okay, that's that. Okay. So, yeah, the finally has to do with just a quick report, right, about this CPAC in the Orlando. And Trump will be appearing on the 28th of February, and he will make a speech there. And actually, Kathy and a few of our other reporters will be there, reporting live from Orlando. And basically, the news is Trump will come out strong and claim the leadership of the Republican Party, and he will reveal his king-making plan. Basically the primary of next year.
Yeah, I think also the focus would also include the big tech, China's CCP's threat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and his appreciation to the American people's support. So that's according to both of his daughter-in-law Laura Trump and his advisor Jason Miller. Mm. So that's I believe a lot of conservatives are looking forward to that. Mm-hmm. So I will report on the site. Mm-hmm. And maybe kind of a couple of polls updates. Okay. So according to Suffolk University and U.S. Today's poll released this weekend, it found that nearly half of Trump supporters saying if Trump has a new party, they will ditch the Republican Party. So that's a lot strong support. Also, the NBC poll saying that found out that blue collar workers flocked to GOP under Trump. So Trump looks like it's really changing the GOP, has already changed the GOP. So in details, the blue-collar workers who identified as Republicans grew by 12% since 2010, and Democrats fell by 8% among the blue collars. And the white-collar workers slightly shifted towards the Democratic Party by 1%. Hispanic blue-collar workers, what do you think? They support Republicans rose from 23% in 2010 to 36% in 2020. And black blue-collar workers rose from 5% to 12%. It didn't talk about Asian Americans, okay? And so generally, the GOP support from the white blue-collar workers also rose from 45 in 2010 to 57 in 2020. So that's like give you a kind of a general picture of the GOP support. So I think right now people are interested in how the party is gonna go, right, and in the future. And of course, for the Democrat Party, there's other, issues and people, different issues that people are interested in. So yeah, just give you a quick update on that.
All right. Next is the laughing time, the joke time of tonight.
Okay, so what are you going to bring to us?
Let's see whether I can make you laugh, all right? So, because the joke that I will bring forth is all, how to say, this is not just joke for joke's sake, okay? It has to do with our content, all right? In America, there are this, always two parties, right? Starting with almost like day one. You got this, Federalist Party and then Democrat Party, Democrat and Republican Party. Then later it's become Democrat versus Republican. There's always two parties. So a Chinese man met with the American. And the American said, why there's only one party in China? We always have two parties. Two parties, right, because we had that from day one. Mm-hmm. And the Chinese man said, no, it's impossible for us to have two parties because we cannot afford them. Okay, would you laugh?
You have to explain why
right.
They can't afford them.
The CCP has they have 90 million public, government employees, 90 million CCP members. No, I'm sorry. CCP members, okay, most of them are government officials. They all get salaries, even they are just purely party officials. They don't have to work. Being the party official is a job. They are very well paid. So Chinese people have to raise them, have to sustain them, right?
Yeah.
So 90 million. Think about it. We got another party. It's gonna be, it's gonna be what? 180 million government employees, the party members. We cannot afford them. All right. This is another one. Okay. Let's say 2 years down the road, Biden got the chance to take an airplane with the Russian President Putin, and then Chinese President, General Secretary Xi. Mm-hmm. All right, so they were, it's a long flight. They're flying to like somewhere like some summit in Switzerland, right? It's just boring. You got another 5 hours. What do? They were just kidding around. They said, let's just play some game here. Let's see whose bodyguard is the most loyal one. Whose bodyguard will be loyal one? That's a pretty challenging puzzle, right? So, okay, they're gonna do a test. So Biden said, he called his secret agent, all right, Secret Service agent. He said, now just open the door of the airplane, jump off it. Let's see who can get your bodyguard jump off the airplane without a parachute, okay? Without the parachute. See,
that's a test.
That's a real test. So Biden tried first, and he said, come over, John, can you please jump off so that I can win this contest? And the Secret Service agent said, are you kidding me, President? I only work for you. I don't sell my life to you. I won't jump. So Biden has no choice. Mm-hmm. Like he did his best, right? He pleaded with him. So now it's Putin's turn. And Putin called his bodyguard. He said, jump off this airplane, can you? And then the guy said, sir, I have elder parents and my grandpa, and I have young kids. Can you spare my life, please? And Putin said, well, what can I do? The guy does have his, elders at home and the young people. Okay, but Putin just shrugged off. I cannot do anything about that. Now it's Secretary Xi's turn, and Xi just move his mouth. His bodyguard, bang, just jump out of the airplane and just fell.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, Putin was Biden, and Biden was so impressed. How did you do this, Secretary?
He's really royalty.
Yeah. How can you find such a loyal bodyguard? How did you do it? Show us, teach us, please. And she said, it's very simple. Think about it. He has his old parents, old grandpa and grandma, and he has young kids. How can he afford not to jump out of the airplane? Laugh, please.
Yeah, so that's sad actually. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. I'm telling you, what is that? The joke is in certain sense.
Actually, this one, I think it's true, especially regarding China.
All right, yeah. we got get some laughter so that I can get some response. Otherwise, this energy is simply going out, does not come back. It's hard for me to sustain this way.
I think people are responding.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I missed. Benjamin said, "Wei, you are so much better than Jimmy Kimmel or any of those late night shows."
Guys, let me share something in private with only 237 people. Okay. Well, I've got a big crowd in the future. I probably won't be able to do that. My own ambition, okay. My own ambition is to do the nightly comedy show. For me to go through these 40 minutes, just solemn face news reporting, it's just very hard for me. Okay, I really just like the comedy side, the joke. In Silicon Valley, I used to hold. Somebody hold this comedy talk for me, and I charge people $15 a person to come to listen to me talking about the jokes. And so my dream job is the Jimmy Kimmel and those Jimmy Poon, right? Jimmy what? I forgot. And
Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart, yeah, he's gone. And Stephen Colbert, right? And all those folks.
But much different contents, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But the fun side is good. So what I learned is this, right? Because I reported to you before that talk show hosts like Rush Limbaugh, they only stay on the radio. Nobody can afford to go to the go to the night show. The television is all owned by the big kind of left media. So that remained to be my dream. But if you support us, keep watching us, click the like and subscription, donate to us if you have money, and someday we'll get there. Hopefully someday I can do my dream job, the nightly comedy show. All right. Okay. Oh, by the way, the last announcement, okay. It's my Chinese program. I just want you to know, okay? We set up a membership site. It's Chinese, okay? Someday we'll do English. It's a Chinese membership site. A few influential YouTubers move in, produce another set of program, and I announced to my Chinese audience, I'm gonna be producing 250 episodes, okay? In the matter of just 1 to 2 years, to talk about. It's called American history, okay? Talking about 250 years of American history. Actually dating all the way back to the Columbus time. And then all the way here, all the way to today. That's my plan. Because the idea is that I need to teach worldwide Chinese what is true American history and what is true American value. And it's a practical plan. It's not just some dream. And I will get it done in 2 years. And that's my other plan. And if you have Chinese friends, recommend it to them. And I just also count on your support, viewing this show and donate to us. And that's indeed my real plan. I will be doing that. And we already produced 3 episodes already. All right. Someday I'll share the link. You can take a look. It's all Chinese, but they need to know this. And then that's why Kathy and I are here.
Yeah, some of you may have Chinese neighbors and Yeah, and I also saw more comments saying it's almost 11 at Tennessee. It's a late night show already.
And it's comedy, right? I'm getting there. I'm getting like for 1% of where I need to be, and we just need to add 30. Oh, I'm sorry, 40. 40 at the end of our, the number of the viewers, and I will get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you
you're
very much.
great. You're the greatest
Yeah, you're a great
audience.
audience. You know, yeah, we got more likes than the number of the viewers. It's just that's a miracle itself. I'll be talking about that story in the future. And thank you. And good night.
Yeah, take care. So we'll see you.
Kathy will be going to Orlando, and we'll bring you the report Wednesday and Friday. Someday when we settle down, we want to go back to daily show. Okay, just bear with us a little bit. All right.
Yeah,
we'll prepare.
Wednesday I'm still here.
Yes.
Yeah, Wednesday is still here.
Wednesday,
Friday I will
Friday.
report to you. Actually, we're gonna have some live streaming, so hopefully everything will be set up there, and I will do some live report over there. All right. So
Okay.
take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.